Today we're going to be talking about the effect of time on investments. So we're interested today in finding out, how does the length of time that you leave money invested for affect its value? So our first question says a $1,000 investment earns 2% per year, simple interest over 5 years. And the question is it better to double the interest rate or double the time it's invested? So we're going to try that out and see what happens. So we're going to start with doubling the interest rate. So I do notice when I read the question that it says simple interest. So I know if this is simple interest that I'm going to use the formula A equals P times 1 plus IN. That's the formula for simple interest. And then down the side, I like to list. I have A, P, I always requires a little bit of work, so I leave a blank line for that, and then N. Okay, so we're going to read through the question, and we're going to see if we can identify where each of the numbers in the question fits into the formula. So it says a $1,000 investment. So $1,000 is the starting investment. It is the principal, which means it is the letter P. So a $1,000 investment earns 2% per year. So the 2% is the interest rate. But remember, we're trying to see what happens if I double that interest rate. So double means we're going to multiply by 2. So instead of using 2%, I'm going to multiply that by 2. 2 times 2 is 4%. Now our I value is not just the interest rate. It's the interest rate that's been divided by 100. So I need to divide by 100. And we are dividing by 100 because you cannot put a percent into your calculation, and percent means per 100, so we divide it by 100. So 4 divided by 100 is 0.04. So my I value is 0.04. And then it says it's over 5 years. So 5 years is the total amount of time. That's going to be our N. N is usually for us the number of years. It really is the number of times we're calculating interest, but since they're getting interest every year, it's once a year for 5 years, so it's 5 times. So I'm going to take all of these numbers and substitute them in. You will notice we don't know what A is, and that's okay. That's what we want to solve for. So I'm going to say A equals P, that's 1,000, times 1 plus I is 0.04, times N, which is 5. So in order to figure this out, I'm going to try to use order of operations. So I want to do the bracket first. Inside the bracket, there's addition and multiplication, so we should start with the multiplication. So I have 1,000 times 1 plus 0.04 times 5 is 0.2. And then I'm still going to work on that bracket by adding those together. So I get 1.2. And I can do that on my calculator if I need to. 1.2. And then I'm going to finish off by multiplying by 1,000. So I'm going to take 1.2 and multiply that by 1,000 to get that they will have $1,200. So if you double the interest rate, you're going to get $1,200. That doesn't really mean anything to me yet. I need to look at what happens if we double the time and then compare to see which one is better. So you can join me in the next video if you need some help on how to calculate the value when we double the time.